The security footage was grainy, but the scene was unforgettable. A luxury Rolls-Royce Phantom sat idling beneath the golden glow of Beverly Hills streetlights. It was nearly 3 a.m. Inside the car was one of the wealthiest women in America, billionaire tech tycoon Danica Volkov. Moments later, the vehicle's rear window exploded outward in a spray of crimson mist. The car didn't move. The driver slumped. Sirens would arrive minutes too late. What investigators would uncover was a crime so twisted, so psychologically disturbing, that seasoned detectives reportedly requested transfers afterward. Why would someone assassinate one of the most powerful women in the world? In her own armored luxury vehicle. And how did the killer even get to her? The real horror? It wasn't a hired hitman, it wasn't a stalker, it was someone far more terrifying, someone she had trusted. This is the case of Danica Volkov, the female billionaire who was gunned down in her own bulletproof car by a killer who shouldn't have been anywhere near her. And tonight, we're going deep into the lies, manipulation, and mind games that made this one of the most disturbing modern murders in American history. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Danica Volkov was more than just a billionaire. She was a symbol of transformation. Born in a crumbling Soviet-era apartment block in Omsk, Russia, she immigrated to the U.S. with her mother at the age of 10. By 14, she was building computers from scrap parts. By 22, she launched her first startup, Nova Spire, an AI-driven security software that redefined digital protection. By 35, she was worth $9.4 billion. Danica's name became synonymous with power and mystery. She rarely gave interviews, was fiercely private, and had a reputation for being cold, calculated, and brilliant. Her social circle was elite: tech giants, royalty, shadowy investors. Her enemies? Countless. But no one expected her end to come at the hands of someone so close. They were practically inside her skin. The call came in at 2:57 a.m. on May 14th. Possible 10:54. Person unresponsive in vehicle, gunshot heard, corner of Sunset and Alpine Drive. Luxury vehicle, no movement. When Officer Trey Monroe and Sergeant Linda Hargrove arrived, they found the Phantom running in idle. The back window was spiderwebbed with a small central hole. A .22 caliber slug, an unusual choice, was later recovered from the seat. Danica Volkov was slumped in the passenger seat. Her security detail, her personal driver, was missing. Her phone, untouched. Her purse, undisturbed. Her Rolex, still ticking. It wasn't a robbery, it was a message. And whoever left it had vanished, without a trace. Detectives combed through Danica's recent meetings, calls, emails, and security logs, but one anomaly stood out: a name, Imogen LeClaire. She had been hired just 8 weeks prior as Danica's personal wellness consultant, a holistic therapist with certifications in neurolinguistics and alternative body therapy. Imogen had glowing references, a charming French accent, and had reportedly become Danica's emotional shadow. But the twist? Imogen LeClaire didn't exist. The ID was fake, the credentials were forged, and within 48 hours, investigators couldn't find a single trace of Imogen in any national database. Not even facial recognition hit anything real. She had ghosted the system. A woman embedded in the billionaire's inner circle, completely untraceable. 3 days after the murder, a chilling package arrived at the LAPD. No return address. Inside, a flash drive and a single typed note that read, "She finally stopped running. Maybe now the world will see her for what she really was. I." The drive contained a single video, grainy, static-filled footage of Danica asleep in bed. The video was shot from the foot of her mattress. She doesn't wake up, but the figure behind the camera breathes, loudly, heavy. Detective Monroe vomited after watching it. It meant only one thing. Imogen, if that was her name, had been inside Danica's home multiple times, undetected. This was no random crime. This was obsession. 2 weeks later, a breakthrough came from an unlikely source, Interpol. A French national named Isabelle Moreau had been flagged in an unsolved case from 2014. She'd been a live-in caregiver for a reclusive millionaire in Lyon who mysteriously died of arsenic poisoning. The case had gone cold due to lack of evidence, and Isabelle had vanished. A facial match, 91% with Imogen Leclerc. Even more shocking, Isabelle had a documented history of severe dissociative identity disorder. Multiple psychologists reported her slipping into distinct personas, some of which were violent, manipulative, and paranoid. But this wasn't simple mental illness. This was weaponized identity. She had reinvented herself over and over, always attaching to wealthy individuals, always disappearing after they died or severed ties. Danica Volkov may have simply been the last in a long line of high-profile hosts. By early June, the LAPD had been tracking usage of burner phones and traffic cams, hoping for a hint of where Imogen might surface. Then came a break. A woman matching her description was spotted in Santa Fe, New Mexico, at a high-end retreat for trauma survivors, going by the name Emmanuel Drouin. A SWAT team was dispatched. Footage of the raid shows tactical units swarming the desert property. Inside a rented villa, they found her. She didn't resist. She smiled. She simply said, "I wondered when you'd come." Danica said you would. In her bag, a pistol, matching the bullet recovered from Danica's Phantom. In her journal, pages and pages describing cleansing the parasite, removing the false queen, and becoming what she couldn't. The courtroom was electric. Forensic psychologists described the killer, Isabelle Moreau, as a living chameleon with no stable sense of self. She reportedly believed that Danica was stealing souls through her AI software and implanting them in machines. One diary entry read, "She's building a digital empire of the dead. I saw my mother in the code." The jury deliberated for 11 hours. Verdict: guilty of first-degree murder, but her sentencing would be unique. She was ruled criminally insane and placed in a maximum security psychiatric facility indefinitely. To this day, she speaks in 3 different voices during evaluations, one of which claims to be Danica Volkov herself. Danica's empire was dissolved. Her companies splintered. Her Beverly Hills estate now sits empty, unsold, reportedly due to unexplainable electrical anomalies and power surges that defy engineering. Some say the house is haunted. Some say she never left. And as for Isabelle Moreau, she has not spoken a coherent sentence since 2024. Only one thing remains clear. She had been planning the murder for years. Danica trusted her, and she paid the ultimate price. This case was more than just a murder. It was a masterclass in deception, obsession, and psychological horror. Danica Volkov was one of the most powerful women alive, but not even her billions could protect her from the ultimate betrayal from someone who wore a mask so perfect. No one saw the cracks beneath. If you found this story as chilling as we did, please remember to like this video, share it with your fellow true crime fans, and hit that subscribe button so you never miss a case. We bring you deep dives into the most disturbing crimes from around the world, right here on True Crime Feedback. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and always look twice at who you let in.